The following is a conversation. It has the features of any conversation, such as imperfectly expressed thoughts, ill-considered opinions, and the notions of several sleep-deprived brains. Try not to get your stethoscope in a twist about it.
I'm feeling a little disconnected from pop culture these days. So I want you to give me something. What's going on? What's going on in the world of pop culture?
What happened on The Golden Bachelor?
If you're up to date on The Golden Bachelor, last night,
Should we give a spoiler alert?
It's not really.
Okay.
Not really, but they're just like these two women who are like humble bragging about how they were gonna like win the Golden Bachelor with Gary, I think is his name.
What is the Golden Bachelor for the, I guess I'm going to assume it's an old guy.
Yeah, he is like 70 and the women are all like 60s, 70s.
They're in their golden year.
Should I watch this
No, you
show?
absolutely should watch it. I've never watched The Bachelor ever, and you should watch it.
Okay.
What prompted you to watch this one if you don't watch it?
Just some, like, I don't know, like stress relieving Thursday nights, like just getting together with friends and not worrying about the test the next day at all. And just like, it's a nice unwind time right before exams.
My favorite thing that I've watched all year, but I can't remember what it's called. But it was basically a courtroom...
Jury Duty.
Jury Duty.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Fantastic. I have never seen a more pleasurable reality television show that felt like super genuine to me.
So I heard that like the premise of this show was that basically everybody around this one dude is an actor.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
But he is like, and they're all called in for jury duty. But
Yeah.
he's the only one that doesn't know. But
So you
that's
haven't
only
seen
in the
it.
show.
Well,
I've
like-
seen part of it. I've
Okay.
seen like just a few episodes and then.
Have you heard of The Truman Show? It's a similar concept.
right.
Like The Truman Show messed my head up when I watched it for the first time.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, is my life for
But that's
context,
fictional.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fictional, but it's about a guy named Truman who like grows up in a fake world and everyone around him is an actor, including his parents. He was adopted by the TV show. It's a crazy situation.
It was
And
like-
I feel like Jury Duty is kind of like that, but more realistic and
Yeah.
somewhat possible.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've thought I've lived in a simulation, especially since starting medical school, is sort of innumerable. Like I can count it off my hands, which is too much.
Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen Jury Duty, highly recommended. There's also a sort of a behind the scenes afterwards of how they did it and all of the like real time machinations they had to do to adjust their scenarios when the main character did things that they didn't expect. It's a lot of fun and it is extremely wholesome, unlike any other reality TV show I have ever seen.
You're saying the
Strong
Kardashians
recommend.
isn't wholesome?
No. I'm just
One
gonna
of them's
say.
pregnant. I don't know which one, but one of them is pregnant now or something like that. That's, miracle of life.
Okay.
Embryology.
No, God, no. Not embryology.
Meandering in the margins of medicine, it's the Shortcoat Podcast.
Weird news,
Fresh views
helpful clues, and interviews.
by students for students.
Subscribe to our weekly show at theshortcoat.com.
Welcome back to the Shortcoat Podcast, the show that gives you an inside look at medical school from the students drinking from that fire hose. It's a production of the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine. I'm Dave Etler. With me today in the SCP studio, some pop culture icons of medical school, all M1s. She's the musical genius who invented a new genre called polka dubstep. It's Fallon Jung.
Boop-a-doo-boop.
Yeah, see? Definitely worth a listen. He's the avant-garde artist who paints only with his beard. It's Srini Nandakumar.
Hello.
Did I do that right?
Close enough.
Don't tell me close enough.
Well, I don't.
It'll
I was
get
like,
worse and worse as time goes on if you do that.
Yeah, you were like painting with a beard, and I was like, what beard? But
You got a little beard,
Yeah.
got a little stubble. That makes it even better.
Okay.
It means you're capable of growing a beard.
She's well known as an activist fighting for the rights of invisible beings. It's Kait Grimes. Is that not right?
What?
Okay. I'm only really interested in the name. I'm so nervous about names. You looked at me like, that's not my name. But it is. She's the fashion icon known for popularizing outfits made entirely of Trader Joe's Frozens. It's Radha Velamuri.
Radha Velamuri.
Radha Velamuri. Okay.
Yes.
My instincts were correct again. I just failed in the execution.
It's okay. It's already an anglicized version of my name anyway.
What would be the non-anglicized?
I don't know. I mean, like the name my parents gave me.
Yeah.
Radha Velamuri.
Okay.
But it's honestly, I can barely pronounce it myself.
Okay.
So
You did great.
thank you. I tried. But yeah, I love Trader Joe's any day.
Well.
Woo! Except I'm vegetarian, so it's only vegetarian
Sure.
outfits.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Why am I apologizing? Before we begin, I have some long overdue thanks that I need to give to Amanda from Texas, who both donated to the podcast and bought some stickers. Donations and merch purchases help us do things that we might not otherwise be able to do with our very limited budget. It's really nice to know that people feel positive enough about our work to give a little scratch. And Amanda, so Amanda, thanks so much. Shortcoats, if you'd like to join Amanda in donating or buying merch for some reason, like our Brain Burger and Value stickers, which are right there in a bowl, which you can check out to podcasters. Yeah, visit theshortcoat.com and look in the sidebars for those. But thank you, Amanda. She had to write to me because I missed her purchase, and she was very positive about it. And,
I love an assertive, positive person.
I was like super embarrassed though, because, she did a nice thing for us, and I totally completely missed the fact that she'd done it. Thank you, Amanda. On today's show, I wanted to talk about the concept of health. I feel like it's one of those words that we use that everyone has a common sense understanding of, but I'm not sure how that might be changing for you guys as you begin your medical school journey, or if it is changing. You guys are only half a semester, if that, into medical school, right? Are we at the halfway mark officially?
I think we just passed the halfway
All right.
mark.
I've lost track.
And
what is time?
I imagine that this has at least been a topic you've been introduced to in medical. I would hope that at this point you've at least discussed it. But I wanted to know what you guys might be thinking, or what you might be being taught about its meaning in the context of medical school as you shift from layperson essentially to, as you begin the shift to professional. What have you been told about this definition, if anything?
Are you talking about in med school or like in life?
In med school.
Okay. I'm trying to think. It's hard to separate my past from my present because
what did you do? Yeah.
I have a master's in public health.
Okay.
Oh, so
right, cool.
Yeah, not that it gives me a lot more knowledge than other people, but like I
think it
have
might.
spent a long time thinking about it, and also like I have health problems myself.
Okay.
And so like that kind of makes me think like, do I consider myself to be healthy? So it's hard to think about health only in the context of medical school. But like if I were to put like my background aside, everything I've ever thought about my own health aside, I think we've talked about it in the context of society. Mm-hmm. So like communities, like I'm in a community health outreach program. So we've talked about community health. We've talked a little bit about medicine and society. That's one of our classes. So we talk about, I don't know, we had an exam on that, so I don't remember.
Social determinants of health.
Yeah, that was one of the things. And then, we have clinical and professional skills where we talk about interacting and communicating with people who come to us because they have concerns about their health. Mm-hmm. So that's probably the extent of our reach right now.
So if I were to say, define what it is to be healthy.
I'd like to defer to my more esteemed colleagues.
Nice. That was so smooth.
In our mass lecture, we did actually have like a whole thing.
There's
about
a definition.
This. Yeah, it was like, what is health? And like, if you look back very in the beginning, at first it meant like you're out of favor with the gods, and then it meant like you have an imbalance of humors, and then it meant like it's just the absence of disease. And now we're sort of at a place where health is not only the absence of disease, but it's also being able to live well in the places that you like live physically, in the places that you age, in the places that you grow, like how you eat, if you're like exercising, your mental health. So it sort of like takes into account all of these different aspects of life itself.
So I think like most areas of knowledge, we've moved from a fairly incorrect.
I wouldn't say incorrect.
So,
that was what they had at the time. The
I mean, that's all. That's what they had. You're right.
We could be wrong now too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's pretty clear that.
Sorry.
All right, I'm revealing my.
Are you trying to tell us you don't believe in the Greek gods?
I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the Greek gods have moved along in the
Percy Jackson would also agree.
But we've moved from sort of a simple definition to a more complex, nuanced definition. Yeah, that's pretty much what I read about, when I prepared for the show. That's pretty much what I read was the situation, in the early part of this century in particular, we were talking about, it's basically health is a lack of disease, right? And then there's then we came to the functional ability to cope with daily life, which I don't know, that sounds a little bit limiting, I think. Coping, like who wants to just cope?
Yeah, I think, sorry, not to interrupt.
No.
But what was it in the definition? It's like not necessarily like without having infirmity, but also having like thriving.
Yeah. So
like
the other one I read was a balanced state between the person and their environment, to put it simply, which is, I might have atrial fibrillation and thus have a chronic disease, but I might feel fine most of the time. Is that healthy? I don't know. So maybe if the second definition is what you're operating under, where you're coping with, the slings and arrows of life, you might be able to cope with bouts of AFib, but you'd probably rather achieve the third state of health that they're talking about, like a balanced state where AFib is controlled and I'm able to fully participate in life. And that might be healthy.
Yeah, I like to think of health as relating to quality of life in a way. And there's always this difference between quantity of life versus quality of life. And oftentimes in healthcare, we're looking at prolonging life when the quality might not necessarily be great. And so if you live longer but you're suffering, are you healthy?
I think that depends. Well, you bring up a valid point.
There's an answer to that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not only prolonging life. Like, because, if you're young and you have health problems, they're like, you're probably going to live longer. It depends on the health problem, too. If it's like you hurt your ankle, you're not trying to prolong life at that point. You're like, you're probably going to live the same amount of life regardless, but you're trying to improve the quality of life. So I think that also depends on what a person could be, suffering from, like what ailment or something that they get diagnosed. That also just determines whether we want to prolong life or whether we want to improve quality of life.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to also what the effects of these ailments may be.
Yeah.
One thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this was just lab values for things like, let's take hypertension, for example.
Sure.
A normal blood pressure is 120/80 or less. These numbers, interestingly, change over time. So hypertension used to be defined as systolic of more than 140, and then 5 years ago they said, no, it's going to be more than 130. And so these lab values shift, presumably as a result of what can be the effect of having a blood pressure of that value, and saying that previously we thought if you had a blood pressure over 140, you're at greater risk for other problems and a worsening quality of life thereafter. But now with more research, we're saying that if you have a blood pressure more than 130, a lower threshold, your quality of life is at risk going forward, and you're at risk for developing more problems. So sometimes these lab values also have some fluidity. So this quantitative measurement that we take is always changing as well.
Yeah. So let's say that I, as a 53-year-old male, have high blood pressure, but because I take blood pressure medication, my values are typically really super normal, right? Am I healthy?
That's a great question.
Do you feel healthy?
Do you feel
healthy? Great.
I think it's up to you. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm not saying that this is really me. This is a hypothetical. My medical history is such a part of this podcast. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point as well. I think health also comes down to perception and how you feel in a way. Like the patient may have all these medical problems, but how do they feel?
Yeah.
And it's not stagnant. It changes. Some days you're like, I'm feeling great. I'm going to take on the world. Yeah, maybe I have kidney failure, but I don't. But hopefully. But, maybe I'm taking on the world today and I feel healthy. But, one day maybe like your kidney's acting up and you're like, oh, I don't feel healthy today. Or in the context of us, it could be like, honestly, with stress. Like we haven't, like my health sort of declines during the week until Friday, and then we have our exams, and then I go, and then I go back down. Yeah, it's also
medical school is bad for you.
It's probably proportional to my ice cream intake. But,
Oh my gosh, our candy intake! My heavens,
yeah.
It's like Halloween every day around
like
here.
also like my health goes down until Halloween, and then it goes back up after Halloween.
We have
Candy
a few staff members in OSAC who delight in providing food to you all, especially candy.
Mm-hmm.
There's some healthy options.
But me and Radha do not choose the healthy option.
Every Thursday, it's day before exam. We walk in together and we're like, "What are we getting from OSAC today?" And we just go and we're little gremlins grabbing our little snacks and running away.
Yeah, I had 2 Almond Joys and a Hershey's Nugget for breakfast this morning.
Oh yeah, baby. That's my afternoon snack. I always feel bad going to because I'm like, "Oh, this is for the students," and I'm like, "Nah, screw it."
New podcast
for me.
topic:
It's for
Are
me
medical
too.
students healthy?
Oh my gosh.
Healthy-ish.
Yeah.
Health adjacent.
Well, I feel healthy when I have my Connects for breakfast, so it's okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice. Well,
So do you suspect that patients might have a different definition of health from you guys
Well,
or from their doctors? let's
okay.
say?
I was
Yeah.
like, some of us are. I mean, some doctors are patients too. I mean, everyone's a patient at some point.
Sure. Well, let's assume that it's a patient that's not a trained health professional. Do you think they have the same definition of health as doctors do?
I think it really depends on who you are and what you value. So a lot of the time when your patient is coming into the doctor, their definition of health is often, do I feel good? Am I in the absence of disease? Because they're there usually to get rid of their disease or whatever it is that's going on. And honestly, I don't really know in the society how, I don't really know how focused we are on like lifestyle health, you know?
Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time on TikTok. I just rolled my eyes. You couldn't hear it. But if you could have heard it, it would sound something like this. And there's a lot of health content on TikTok and Instagram, social media in general, where people are talking about things like gut health and a lot of hogwash, but maybe some hidden gems here and there. I feel like we're focused as a society, at least to the extent that social media is society. I think we're focused on that a lot of times.
First of all, everyone's got an opinion. It doesn't matter the amount of health education you have an opinion on health. When it comes to like how you think about health, I mean, coming from, starting my medical education journey, I'm getting some more knowledge. I feel like it just becomes more complicated the more education you have in the field. Before I was like, do I feel healthy today? Do I not feel unhealthy? I feel like it's more dichotomous.
Yeah.
But then once you get more of that background, it's like, oh, like what's included in it? Like it's more of a spectrum. It's more of a continuous variable than a categorical variable.
Wow.
Can I say that was in our last exam, Caps?
It's working. Med school's working.
You'd think. I know. It's shocking.
I think that's true of a lot of education. As you learn, things get more complicated. It's kind of an unfortunate side effect of education. You sort of lose the certainty of the dichotomous. And then you have to start thinking about, edge cases and weird things that you didn't have to think about before.
Well, here's what came to mind. If you're a layperson thinking about health, I feel like your focus is generally more on treatment rather than prevention necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think, oh, I'm feeling fine. I'm able to go about my day-to-day life. But maybe I have high blood pressure, which generally doesn't make you feel any worse.
Any different, right.
It doesn't make you feel any different.
I
You
love
think,
when
oh, yeah, I'm healthy.
I love when I first got diagnosed with high blood pressure. The person who delivered the news was like, "So we'll get you some medicine so that you feel better." And I'm like,
I feel fine.
"I feel great.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
Right.
I feel worse now that I have to take meds.
I know.
Yeah. Right. And so I think that's one of the reasons why people are like, why do I have to take this medicine when it doesn't change how I feel?
Yeah.
It's affecting something potentially in the future, which I cannot necessarily comprehend.
Yeah.
That in the future, I have a greater risk of developing some other things that will make me feel bad.
Yeah.
But right now I feel fine. So why should I do this?
Yeah. Here's another example from my life. You guys, I'm so stupid. Anyway, I went to the dentist. Okay. First of all, I have very few cavities for a guy my age and who grew up in the 70s. So
That's a win.
Mm-hmm.
that's a win right there. I'm happy. I have all my wisdom teeth because I have a very large mouth, I guess.
Because you're wise.
I never had to take them out.
Like Freddie Mercury.
I did not know that. But at my last dentist appointment, they were like, we'd like to take out your wisdom teeth because they're a little close and to your other teeth, and they could cause problems down the road.
What problems?
Like decay. Like they're too close, and you might have trouble keeping them clean and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not having a problem right now.
Well, I think too, some people are so focused on their health like right now, and some people are way more like focused on their health in the future.
Right.
And that really plays into how people like.
Yeah, I mean, I could have made a very different choice, right? I'm not willing to have them yank my teeth out of my head personally because I'm not feeling a problem. But maybe I'll regret that when I'm 60 and I need to have my wisdom teeth removed. I don't know.
How much of a problem would it become? Like, did they give you more information about it, or were they just like, we're going to yank your teeth out?
Oh, words like root canal were thrown around and things like that. But,
I feel like they got to give you more information because my mom had her wisdom teeth until I think in their 30s. They were like, we're going to take them out.
Yeah, they used to take them out much more routinely than they do now. So.
But it was like she had them for, 30 years, no issues. And they were like, we're going to take them out. And she strongly suspected it was because they wanted the money for it.
Yeah.
Because she has permanent numbness now.
I assumed that the motivations were pure.
Yeah. I'm not saying that dentists want to kill us. No,
right.
I'm not saying that. Or,
I assumed that they really were concerned that maybe in the future I would have a
dentists.
problem, but also I was like, I'm not willing to go through that just in case,
I just feel like going back, it's all about prevention, right? Like if you're brushing, if you're flossing, if you're doing water picking, they're like, get yourself an electric toothbrush. I'm not sure, but I'm not a dentist.
Does anyone water pick? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's
people
the thing.
definitely water pick for sharks. Yeah,
I would do it. I hate flossing. I just haven't gotten around to making that Amazon purchase yet.
Anyway,
Amazon
not a sponsor.
But there's probably no reason for you to be doing these preventative procedures if you if you can just do regular preventative.
I think I understand so basically ripping out your teeth is a kind of an invasive preventive measure.
Yeah.
Right. Getting rid of your appendix before you have appendicitis.
Right. Which they also used to do routinely.
That's weird.
They were routinely taking appendices before there was a problem. I think that's what my memory tells me.
They're only there to cause problems, but still. They're
vestigial organs. They do nothing. That's not true. Go look it up. So I guess, what ways, we seem to be in a more holistic era when we're talking about what it is to be healthy, what health is, which is great. Does that lead to a more humane and patient-centered practice of medicine?
I think it potentially, because it at least how they're teaching us to it becomes a lot more patient, individual circumstance focused versus very checklist type treating.
Yeah.
I can't compare the education of the past to the education of today because I'm a student now and not in the past.
Fair.
But I've talked to, we've had clinicians and different mentors and people come through, and I've definitely heard them say, back in my day, they just said to go take a history and you tell the patient what to do and then you get out of there. But now, we're learning more about, the patient-centered approach and all of that. And you guys are getting a great education because you're learning more about caring for the patient rather than simply prescribing them something.
But there's an interesting problem there, which is that Americans have terrible health outcomes.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have these idealistic goals, and yes, we teach our students now how to do that, but the people that are teaching us now are also the people that got taught to just take a history and get out of there beforehand, and they're the people that are practicing now, which means that there are still those issues, but also we're such a business driven and efficiency driven society, and so we're not really focused on educating patients and sitting with them and making sure that they understand, like, hey, this is actually like what it might look like and feel like if you have blood pressure or high blood pressure for a really long time. This is what this could look like for you. Yeah. And making sure that you actually understand that, because most people are brought down to 8 to 15 minute appointments.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like individualize those and do a truly patient-centered approach in like 8 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine
when you have the chance to sit down for like an hour and talk to your patient, like, so tell me about your life. Exactly. What are your goals?
I think it depends on what field you go into, because I know certain specialties, like I'm currently having a clinical experience in a pediatric endocrinology department, I don't know, unit. And the clinician I'm shadowing, she gets 30 minutes with every patient. Okay. So she gets a lot of time to talk to them, especially because endocrinology is complicated. Hormones are complicated. So she gets the time to explain things more. But, you know, in primary care, my friend is shadowing pediatrician, just not a specialized one primary practice, primary care pediatrician. And she gets, I think, 15 minutes with every patient. That's barely enough time to get a history and do a physical and get out if you're doing like a well child visit or anything like that. So it depends on what field you're in. But, you know, then there's like referrals and all of that pizzazz going on in the background. And that's also, you know, patient time, provider time. It's not the most efficient way to go about it, but I don't know how else to change the system.
Well, yeah, and going back to Fallon's point about this being a business, the money comes from treating stuff. Oh, you have this? Let's whack at it. Let's treat you. Let's do a surgery. Let's make some money for the hospital and for myself. Versus if you're preventing something, then that's never going to manifest into anything. And then you make no money. Yeah,
we've talked about this on the show many times before. Preventive health doesn't make any money. It's not a procedure. It's not a thing that's easy to charge for or is easy to code, you know?
Right. And with the timing point, if you had time to truly sit down and say, what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? And how do we shape your health to get you to be able to do the things that you want to do? It takes time. It's a lot easier to say, oh, your blood pressure is elevated, you have hypertension, here's medication. Take that every day. Mm-hmm. Versus, I'm just thinking about a story I heard in CBL this week. I have a cardiologist as a facilitator, and he was saying...
It's CBL's case-based learning.
Case-based learning, familiar. Right. So it's a small group of 6 or 7 people. And the facilitator was, we were talking about heart failure and what that was. And the facilitator was saying that he saw a patient who was a veteran who had heart failure, but last week he had run a marathon in Idaho or something like that. And so...
What?
Yeah, right? And so you have this condition.
Did he know he had heart failure before he...
No.
I'm not sure I would make that choice.
So, well, yeah, I guess he didn't know he had heart failure.
I wouldn't make that choice, heart failure or not.
Right, but he was in good shape. He was able to do it, and he felt fine. But when you do the test and measure the cardiac output and all that, it met the threshold for what we diagnosed as heart failure.
That's so interesting.
And that's like full circle to the beginning of the conversation of he probably like defined himself as healthy, even if the test didn't.
Exactly. His quality of life was probably fine. He's able to do what he wants to do, and so he's able to achieve his goals. So at the end of the day, is he healthy or not?
Yeah.
Right?
That's there's the $1 million question.
This brings to mind like other things that I've recently read about people who are extreme runners. So you might look at somebody who's an extreme runner and go, man, that guy's healthy, you know? But it turns out that extreme running is a very arduous thing for the body to do. And so maybe that isn't especially healthy. I mean, how many times have I read over the years of people who are extreme runners, like dropping dead suddenly? You know, that doesn't sound like health to me, but you know, maybe, I guess as long as they're happy, you got to die something. Otherwise, it'd be really embarrassing to die of nothing. So I guess that's.
I think that's what we strive for.
To die of running?
No.
Hopefully not.
No, to die peacefully of old age, i.e., nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the dream is to die suddenly, basically, with no pain and all.
No pain, no complications. Yeah. Just 1 minute, I'm out.
No anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's also a matter of fulfillment, right? Because if I
want a chance to say bye to my loved ones, and then I can go.
Yeah. Right, and I've been able to do everything in life that I've wanted to, and I'm, so once again, goals of what you want to achieve in life, I think ties into that.
That's why I say of old age.
And then when you're talking about goals of what you want to achieve in life, like if someone has a broken ankle and they want to like climb Mount Everest, like they wouldn't consider themselves to be healthy, but like they can still like do so much other stuff. But would they be fulfilled? Like if they had been training to like climb Mount Everest, like they probably wouldn't consider themselves healthy or fulfilled, but because because their broken ankle isn't like too, it's not like what we consider like life-threatening. Like,
and this also comes about, I'm thinking specifically of people who are deaf, capital D deaf. So there's a distinction that means that they participate in a culture of people who are themselves also deaf. There are very distinct cultural qualities to being deaf. Whereas somebody who is lowercase d deaf might not care to participate in that, might have some hearing but not total hearing loss, that kind of thing. Is the person who is capital D deaf, are they healthy? I think they would say absolutely I'm healthy. Like that being deaf in this way is just a part of who I am, like having blue eyes or having curly hair or whatever.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember reading an article about a guy who, it was like an opinion piece that he wrote where he was like insulted by the idea that someone offered him like cochlear implants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm healthy. I'm fine. I live my life. I've grown up this way. I have no issues communicating the way I do. Other people might need to like, I don't know, like I've worked my way into communicating with like the non-deaf community, but I can't believe someone would offer me cochlear implants when I'm perfectly fine just the way I am.
Right.
So like that, like he considered himself to be healthy. So he was insulted by the like even notion of someone else considering him unhealthy.
Shortcoats, if this episode is worth listening to this far, it's worth sharing. So blast us on your socials. And if you want a sticker for your trouble, send us a screenshot. Thanks.
On a somewhat related note, what could be simpler than the definition of health that the normal temperature of 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit is a normal body temperature? I think most people know that this little health factoid and use it on the regular to decide if they're sick. But is it true? I read a New York Times article this week that said that the number might be changing, that we're cooling down, which is kind of weird to think about. Well, it turns out that the guy who determined normal human body temperature 150 years ago, Dr. Carl Wunderlich, awesome, might have been just a bit off. Maybe the discrepancy arrived from, apparently he used like a foot-long thermometer that he stuck in people's armpits to determine what the normal temperature is, like big old thermometer. Things were bigger back then. They hadn't miniaturized.
Armpits were bigger back then?
Armpits were...
I don't know what you're going on about.
Yeah, so he was using, old-fashioned instruments. I guess he was using larger armpits. So, measurement,
like
location, time of day, external temperatures, like all that kind of stuff might have been a factor. And some researchers also believe that humans have genuinely cooled down over time, possibly due to better health. Like maybe we have reduced inflammation.
We do have less infectious disease. We die a lot less of that. That's why we have,
So we have better treatments, better medical care in general, better hygiene, better public health. Fallon's like, I don't know if my hygiene is great. And Dave, sometimes you smell.
Speak for yourself.
So yeah, they're arguing for a temperature range, which is something that I think that you brought up, Sri. I called you Srini. That was the part I was having trouble with at the top of the show. My brain knew that wasn't right. That's your name. That's your full name is Srinath. And I called you Srini. What an ass. See, that's why you got a
nickname.
That's why you got to correct me, dude.
I was more focused on the outrageous description.
Yeah.
So yeah, arguing for a temperature range rather than a fixed average to account for the natural variations that people have.
Is that like your argument? Like you're like, I want to.
Well, I think I just feel like ranges are fluid as we learn more things. about ourselves, right? Like the range for hypertension 20 years ago is different than it is now because presumably new evidence has come out that suggests that we should modify these ranges based on what we've observed.
Reading this article brought to mind my experience as a parent. So if you haven't been around children or haven't had children, they're always running a fever, it seems like. And one of the things that my wife and I learned to think about was, well, okay, yeah, they're a little bit high, but are they actually acting sick? You know, if they're running around like, you know, your normal average crazy child, but they have a runny nose and a slight fever, then they're probably not. They're healthy. They're having a good time. I'm not gonna say, oh, well, they should get in bed and rest, you know, or whatever that they used to do. So I don't know. That's what I was thinking about when I read this article. Like, you know, if you're a parent, maybe you're already used to this idea that temperature isn't necessarily the right measure.
Did we get the range? What's the range?
I think they're working on it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
Can't publish an article and not give us a range.
That's such a tease.
I know. Sorry. Maybe there was one and I missed it, but.
Well, I could say I personally do not check my temperature regularly.
Me neither.
Maybe when I go to the doctor, but I do know when I'm sick because I feel sick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how many times were there where I had a high temperature but just didn't know or care because I felt fine?
Yeah. And there's there's symptoms, right? Like temperature is a sign, symptom. I don't know the definition anymore.
It is a sign.
Okay, temperature is a sign. But I sometimes get hot when I'm stressed. Like I'll be like, you know, Thursday, Monday going to Friday, right? So that Thursday I'm like studying and I'm like stressed. So
the ice cream cools you down.
Yeah. So I feel like I call them little stress fevers. So I'm like, I like get a little, sometimes when I like, it might be like a headache, but like I'm like stressed and I like get kind of hot and then I'm like eat some ice cream and then I cool down. But like I feel like I'm healthy. Like I'm not having a problem. Maybe I'm stressed. That's not healthy technically, but I wouldn't say I'm like sick. Right? There's a difference between having like a higher and lower temperature and actually being like, what is sick? Can we talk about what does sick mean?
Yeah, what does sick mean?
Yeah. Anyone want to?
Not being healthy.
So
I mean, for me, sick is I'm unable, or I don't feel as happy participating in my life as I ordinarily would.
Unable to cope.
Oh, and I'm unable to cope.
I feel like sick is more of a temporary definition. Like I use sick for when I'm like sniffling, coughing, sneezing, like anything like that. Like I don't consider allergies to be sick. Am I healthy? Am I like unhealthy when I have allergies? Yeah, I'm just like sneezing and runny nose and I don't feel like healthy, but I don't feel sick.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just like the nuances of the word sick.
Sure.
But I don't know.
I guess I usually think of sick as like if I can't focus on anything else mostly besides the like what I'm feeling, then usually I'm sick.
That's a good way to put it.
Even if it does mean that I have like horrific allergies.
Yeah, I mean, there were times. Did I say during the show or was it before the show where we were talking about allergies?
Before.
Yeah.
So yeah, earlier as the season has changed very suddenly here in Iowa, I suddenly am finding myself like very allergic, and usually that's not the case for me, but this past week I spent a ton of time sneezing in my office. And yeah, there were times this week when I was like, am I sick? Am I, because I could not do anything else other than sneeze and sniffle. And
there's like taboo or like stigma associated with sick rather than
thanks COVID.
COVID, it's COVID for sure.
Good Lord. Used to be you could cough and like even still I'm like, if I cough, I like feel a little badly about
I know
it.
when other people cough, I like silently give them the hairy eyeball.
I apologize when I cough now. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sick. I swear it's not COVID.
I know. Or if I have a cold or something and I know I've tested, I know it's not COVID, I have to explain myself to people.
I know. I still mask up, like just not even for me, like just so that other people don't judge me for being gross.
Well, the stigma of being sick.
Whole other topic, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I was like,
well, you made it to the second break. You tolerate us. If you can, consider donating or buying a sticker or something. Visit theshortcoat.com and help us do stuff without having to beg a dean for money. Thanks.
Sometimes words are hard.
True
and
that.
And when talking with another person, you have to do a little detective work to figure out what is really their intended meaning. Like if you're a pediatrician and you ask a toddler about their pain and they say they have a headache, but later they point to their knee, it's definitely something that kids do. You know, you can't just take them at their word. You have to figure out what their word actually means. So let's play a game. Let's see how you can do this by playing a game I'm calling Mr. White. I'm going to give you each a card with a medical or medicine adjacent secret word on it. 3 cards have the same word on it, but the 4th card has a similar but different word. Your job is to find out who has the different word. Who is Mr. White? Okay. We'll go clockwise around the group, and each person will describe their word with a 1 or 2 word clue that doesn't include any part of the word or a synonym. So if the word is apple, you might say crunchy. You do not want to give away your word. Make it hard.
Hard.
I hate word games. Sorry, nothing against you. It's just sometimes the English
Everybody
language
hates
doesn't
every
work.
game that I make up on this. There's always one person.
You're being a downer.
I'm so excited. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think this game is sick.
Hey. Then you discuss to figure out who has the Mr. White word. Okay. After discussion, I'll ask you to point at who you think Mr. White is. That will be your vote. I guess we should do that out loud, considering this is an audio podcast.
Yes.
The player with the most votes will bring their card to me, and I will tell you if that person is actually Mr. White.
Okay.
Or not. If the majority is right, Mr. White will then have a chance to guess what the other word is, the 3 words, the 3 cards, what's on those 3 cards. Shit. If the majority is wrong, the person accused of being Mr. White is eliminated, and the others go through another round of guessing, voting, and confirming, and they'll continue until Mr. White is found. Does everybody understand these weird, poorly written, poorly spoken directions?
You said it,
Heck
not
yeah.
me.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. We're good. I'm good at this.
All right.
No bananagrams for you. No taboo.
I love
no
bananagrams.
scatter
Oh,
marks.
okay. I love taboo.
No, I love these games. I'm just a horrible liar.
Oh.
So I'll be like,
What's a bananagram?
what? It's like Scrabble.
Oh, I will bring
But, like,
in my little banana and we'll play bananagrams
It's so
together.
cute.
Let's see.
Just so you know, you can kind of see the back of them.
Okay. Oh, did you already?
No, actually, I just saw writing, but I just.
Don't look.
Oh.
sorry.
Wait, I don't look?
No, I mean you can look. The others don't look.
I still don't 100% know if I'll even play this right, so it's probably okay if I look.
We can run a clinical trial on this game.
All right, let's start. Let's start with you.
No.
Kate.
The
Pressure's on.
pills.
Your turn next.
Therapy.
Drugs.
White coat.
So now you can discuss.
Radha. I think it's
I
Radha.
think it's Radha
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
I want to know why.
Therapy.
Yeah, therapeutic. Sure, there. Therapy.
I do think
What
it's
else
Radha
are we
though.
supposed to say?
Radha was my first guess.
Yeah.
It's because
But
the
why?
words against me.
But why? You haven't. I don't.
Yeah.
Think
Because we all said things that were
Similar.
like yes, and therapy.
It's a
And,
little
now
more-
wait a
what's your
minute. Whoa,
definition of
whoa.
therapy?
Wait a minute. White coat.
Yeah, white coat.
That's very
What does that have
different
to do
from.
with
That's
drugs
very
and
different.
pills?
Yeah.
Therapy is very specific. in
Well,
my
it's obviously
opinion.
not
In
me
your
and
opinion,
Fallon. I think we got that.
Yeah.
That's because you guys said the same things with pills and drugs, right?
Well, they're slightly
Yeah,
different.
but they're not.
Essentially the same thing. Semantics. Okay, so it's again you against me, Sri. Okay, what's up? Why'd you say
May the best win.
Why'd you say white coat? And that just bias against me because I already said I didn't like this game.
All right. Let's. All right. Well, let's vote. Say. It sounds like you all are ganging up on.
Radha's the witch.
It's Sri.
Radha.
Oh my gosh, it's Sri. It has to be. What white coat? What does that have to do with this?
All right.
Well, if you
Bring
had
your
the right
card.
word, you would know.
I do have the right word.
Bring your card to me.
Me?
Yes.
Gosh.
You want to take off your
You would give it
headphones.
to me just out of spite. I know.
Do I strike you as a
Some bold
spiteful,
accusations.
A spiteful man?
I'm being dramatic.
Have you had ice cream yet today?
No.
You have indeed found
The imposter.
The imposter.
Mr. White. So now you have to guess what the other three words are. You might want to head back to your microphone so other people can hear.
Oh, that's true. This is a podcast.
Yeah. It's a little awkward that way, not like real life.
Have you?
I don't know. I feel like it's like prescription or something like that.
That's a good guess.
Oh, that is a pretty good guess.
Yeah, no, you're not correct. What is the word?
Oh, can we just tell her?
I think so, yeah.
Oh. Who writes the prescription?
Is it just doctor?
Pharmacist.
Pharmacist. I had pharmacologist.
Yes.
So I was gonna say
That's how similar it is.
That's why I said therapy, because I was like, oh, medication therapy, like it's a therapeutic.
What in the world is a
I was gonna say
I would not have
Somebody
known
who
what to say
studies
for that.
pharmacology.
I was gonna say medicine, but I didn't.
I wouldn't have known what to say for that.
I wouldn't have known what to say
So
either.
thank
I
goodness you got it.
might have still said drugs. Oh.
Yeah.
I probably would have thought it was
probably
written
said
wrong.
drugs.
I wouldn't. I thought white coat was like.
I was surprised that you leapt to Radha
and not white coat.
and not to Sri.
Well, my thought was for mine was also white coat, so I was already on that line of thinking.
I don't think of white coat.
I
when
just
think
thought
pharmacist. I think
therapy was so like different. Like
I thought
'cause
she
a
was gonna have some
therapist-
other therapy type, not pharmacologist.
Right, I was
but
thinking like
maybe
psychologist.
Yeah,
or,
I was
like-
thinking. I mean, I thought therapy just because of like I think of a medicine as like a prescribed therapy, but that's just probably just my brain being weird.
So a pharmacologist is somebody who studies the mechanisms and the effects and the you know the way that drugs
medicines
interact
work.
with the body. And a pharmacist is something we're very much more familiar with. You know, they dispense medications, they do other health related services like give vaccinations or maybe check blood pressure or stuff like that. Like, so anyway.
Sorry, I messed up your game.
I don't think you did.
I don't think so. Honestly.
I don't think you did. I think I'm not sure. I think everybody else messed up the game.
Yay! Okay, that would be good.
So
I lost, but I won in the end.
Yes. All right, let's try another one.
Ooh, more.
Yesterday we were in study group with Hoffman.
Sorry.
So that was so not sincere.
It was. Sorry, you were gonna say?
No, so yesterday we were in study group with Hoffman, and he was saying how we don't really, like as humans, we're not very good at taking in audio information. And which probably isn't that great for the podcast, but that's okay. Well, anyway,
You're just denying his whole career.
but
No, I'm just messing up.
What he was saying was in couples therapy, like two people will like sit next to like two partners will sit next to each other, and one partner will say whatever it is that they say, and then the therapist says, okay, like repeat back to me what like so and so just said. And a lot of the times it comes out completely different. And like when you were saying like, oh yeah, therapy, like a drug therapy. And I'm thinking like, oh, therapy, like talk therapy.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that is so interesting. Okay. Let's take
Context plays a lot of like a huge role
Yeah.
within that sort of thing. But instead we get one word here. So
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah, not a lot of context. All right, let's do this again. We're going to go clockwise around the group. This time we'll start with you, Radha.
All right. Change.
Ooh, I was about to say the same thing. Oh, crap.
There is an advantage, I guess, to going first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm at a loss for words.
How does it feel?
Bad. It feels bad.
Don't worry, I'll take out the awkward silence. It'll be fun.
Cancer?
Okay.
What was the first word he said?
We got change and cancer.
Change and cancer. I'll say differences.
Abnormal.
Sri.
Ooh.
It's Sri. I know it right now.
Wow.
I think
know.
it's Radha again.
I think it's Sri.
No,
I
I-
don't think it's Radha this time.
No, I
'cause-
don't. I think
Can we gang up on someone else this time?
Yeah.
So
no,
can we
I-
go over the words again? Change,
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 cancer,
Cancer. Differences.
Differences.
Abnormal.
abnormal.
I think
Well,
I
it
might-
doesn't have to be abnormal. It doesn't.
No,
Cancer seems oddly specific.
Yeah, I was having a hard time. I was going to say change, and then Radha took it.
See, but I feel like we didn't have as hard of a time.
He had a hard. You saw he was
Well,
like.
Fallon took a long time to come up with that word.
You know,
Yeah, so
that's 'cause I was
maybe-
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
think
change.
I think that is a false perception. I'm
I
sorry.
think it's Sri. I'm just gonna die on that hill.
Wait, what do you think's
I think
tricky?
it's Sri.
Okay,
I-
ours were kind of all like deviations from the norm.
Yeah,
Differences, like
different- well,
there are differences that are normal.
Well, I mean, is abnormal technically apply? Like,
that's
Oh, I just said they're normal.
Oh, you
so I
said-
feel like I said that
wasn't
are
your word
normal.
abnormal?
Yeah. So I just said like differences
Yeah,
or
But
not, like,
cancer
that
is
can be normal.
abnormal too.
Cancer's abnormal, but is the word?
Am I allowed to say anything else? Or no, I mean, not as a word, but just as like an explanation of my word.
Maybe not yet.
Okay. Okay.
This might make for a more interesting round.
Yeah.
If we're not like
Because everyone's not ganging up on me immediately. What is the life experience? I think it's straight. I'm just gonna go with that.
Well, does everybody else? Okay,
with
so
that.
let's do the pointing thing this time. Everybody point to the person that they vote for. Okay, interesting. Okay, so it looks like everybody except for Fallon. No. Okay, so
I am pointing.
Radha points to Sri.
Dying on that.
Fallon points to Kait. Sri points to Fallon. Did I get everybody?
And
Kait
I'm
points
And
to
Kait is
Fallon.
pointing to Fallon. So
This
2
is a
votes
hard
for
decision.
Fallon, 1 vote for
I think that I'm like not.
Sri,
in
1
the-
vote for.
One vote for
Why
me.
is this so hard? 1 vote for you.
So Radha
I
is
think
in
so,
the clear.
too.
No votes for Radha.
Yes. You wouldn't do it to me twice, would you?
So the majority voted for Fallon. Let's see. Yeah, give me the right one.
I am. That was hard.
You have not found Mr. White.
Okay. Do we
Hear
get
me
another? Can we point again?
Do we get another round?
Get another round. You got to go through and give
More
a word.
words.
More words.
So Fallon's out.
Okay.
See ya. Wouldn't wanna be ya.
I know it is Friday the 13th, guys.
What?
It is.
Did not realize that until immediate just now.
And my whole podcast rig explodes. All right, a new round of words. We can start with Kait this time.
Deviation. Even though that is very similar to some of the words, I don't know
What
what
are
else.
you gonna do?
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm trying to think. Like, what? I don't want to give it away.
No, you don't.
Oh, sorry. I'm like thinking way too hard about
I
this.
know it's okay.
Replication.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. So I can't.
You already said change.
Yes, that was the first
That was
one.
the first round.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
What's another synonym you could use to try to get out? Sorry, I really think it's him.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm kind of suspicious against you now, Radha.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
did you
Working
just say
awful
before?
hard.
I know.
Yeah, she
Working
really
awful
is.
hard to deflect suspicion.
I know. It's fine.
What was your word this time? It was.
I don't remember what I said.
Replication. you said.
Replication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very suspicious.
What did you say again? Okay.
Deviation. I don't know
Deviation.
if that's too similar. If I should give another.
I was
one
trying
or not,
to
but-
switch it up. I wasn't gonna say another synonym of
Yeah, and these
different.
don't have to be.
I'm sorry, I'm like bullying people now.
I was gonna say these don't. I've already told you they don't have to be synonyms or anything. Or they shouldn't be synonyms.
They have to be related.
But related to the
Related.
word.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Free your mind.
Yeah. All right.
Does that help at all?
Just think better.
Yeah, think better. Do different.
Change in feature.
Oh. Well, I gotta say, I'm
That's 3
stumped.
words.
We'll let him have it, I guess. He's having a hard time.
Maybe we can take the in out in the next two.
All right, so we have the 3 words. Do you wish to discuss? We can also go right
Replication just seemed.
I was
odd.
trying to come up with a
It
word that wasn't
did.
different. You know what I mean? Did you say change in feature?
I don't know. All these things, they remind me of my word.
Which one reminds you the least of your word?
You're not. You're out, girly.
Does that mean she has to be silent?
Dave, I come here to
All
shoot
right.
the shit.
Whatever. You can participate. I don't want to be too pedantic about the rules of this game that I made up.
Word mafia.
It's like odd one out or something like that.
All right, so review. We've got deviation. Is that what
Yeah.
your word? And we've got replication, and we've got
Change in feature.
change in features.
I don't know. Last time I really thought it was you, and now I think it's you.
I
and-
still think it's you.
Well, obviously I thought it was her though too because
You
I
thought it was
voted for
Fallon.
her.
You voted
yeah.
for Fallon, bro.
I know.
It's true, you did.
All right, time to vote. Time to vote. Point at
Okay.
your vote.
stick to my
3, 2, 1, vote. 2 votes for Sri, 1 vote for Radha. I guess Sri, you have to bring me your card.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna just leave.
It's me. No more OSAC snacks.
No more OSAC snacks for you.
Oh.
Wow. That's
Well, I'll still go.
very cute.
We just won't be going together.
You have found Mr. White.
Oh, man.
Mr. White, tell us what you think the other's word is.
I believe it's mutation.
Hey.
You are.
Well, okay, what was yours?
yours?
Mine was genetic variation.
I knew something was up. You spent way too long
I almost
thinking about
said
that first one.
something along those lines for my description for mine, so that's
Did you think of mutation because she said change immediately?
Well, it's change and then cancer.
Yeah, the cancer really
And I was like, I have genetic variation, so I'm definitely the imposter here.
I was worried that cancer gave it away because it was.
But then it threw
Well, but
it
not all
off.
mutations are cancer.
Well,
I know,
and then
but
Kate said
I feel like I
abnormal.
think of mutation when I.
That's
So
why
after
I was
that, I
trying to.
thought,
I was like,
okay,
it can't,
mutation,
I'm like,
I
they're
think.
not all abnormal either. But then that's why I said replication. I was trying to trip you up because can we establish that I have like a sixth sense right now? Like I knew it wasn't, but
Yeah, clearly you're a psychic.
Yes, that's me. But
Let's do one more.
I don't
I'm
know,
sorry. Go ahead.
I just thought, because you were like you said what
I
difference?
said differences.
It's like
Yeah,
that's like the
variation.
same word as I don't know.
Called out.
Exactly.
Your vocabulary.
I'll never be as correct ever again. That was like the one time it happened.
What's nice about this is
right
I
now.
feel like we're also learning a lot about Radha, especially.
I'm very competitive.
All right, let's do one more.
He's like, I can't give this to Radha.
I know, right?
I can't do
I'm
it.
afraid now.
He's fear.
He doesn't want me to tear down his studio.
Radha just loses it. Just breaks. Yeah, I told you it was Thursday. I'm running a temperature.
You caught me on a good day. I'm post-exam right now.
Gracias.
Yours. This time, take a minute to think of your word. How about that? While I reassemble my headphones, which are falling apart. Nothing but the best equipment here at the University of Iowa Carver College of Medicine.
Woo! Hashtag sponsored.
Yeah. Thank you, Amanda, for buying me a new pair of headphones.
So can we ask Jury Duty to sponsor us now?
Yeah.
And the Golden Bachelor.
Yeah.
Look at all the viewership
Two
we're
of
going to
them.
get then.
Let's start with Fallon.
Sebaceous.
Wow.
Interesting. I'm going to go with fluid.
Hey, that was my word.
That was one of my words. Dermatology.
Skin.
Okay.
Okay.
What do we... So who has... Debate. Who has the word? Who has Mr. White word?
Fluid. Huh?
Fluid.
Fluid
makes
and
sense.
sebaceous go together.
I don't know about sebaceous.
What is sebaceous?
It's a type of gland.
Oil.
It usually gives off, like oil and some crapola.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes like a fluidy crapola. I.e. Ugh, I hate this word. Has a lot of neutrophils in it.
Pus.
Yeah, that one. That one.
And I said it in the best way.
Dermatology makes sense to me.
Same.
What did you say, Radha?
Skin.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense to
Yeah,
me.
those are like very.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
And maybe I
round.
went too specific. That was my bad, maybe.
I feel like it might be you.
It could be
Yeah.
me, honestly. I'm not even sure. The problem is nobody knows. So
Yeah.
So it could be me. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, you're supposed to feel attacked and get defensive right now.
Hey,
We're all ganging up on you.
Hey.
But I
Should we
couldn't
just
know.
like be nice and like vote her? Sorry.
Is that
I don't
nice?
know how
Like,
that's being
should we
nice.
be nice and
She's like
vote?
taking it well.
Should we be nice and
know.
vote you,
Some
Radha?
well,
New definition of the word nice I was previously unaware of, but...
thinking it well.
All right.
Positively disqualify.
I mean, even listening to myself, I'm gonna be honest. Like, well, except for fluid.
See, I
is
feel ours
rubbing
like
me the
I feel
wrong
like
way.
you know
Yeah.
fluid
I
makes
feel like our
Is it
fluid makes
possible
sense
that
for
me
our
and Shree
word.
have the same word and,
And
you
then we
guys have the same
Is it
word?
possible that we all have different words?
Well, if that's the case, then I did it wrong.
Okay.
which I'm not going to put it past me.
See, I feel like fluid, dermatology, all this makes sense for our word.
Okay, I feel like sebaceous dermatology makes sense.
I know. I'm
feel
really
like
torn between you
True.
two again.
I feel like sebaceous doesn't make sense.
All right, let's vote.
Okay.
As much.
3, 2, 1 point. I can't.
I'm the
So we've
only
got
one not pointing at
two
Fallon.
votes, 3 votes for Fallon, that's not how it's supposed to work. And then, well, actually, maybe it is supposed to.
Nobody knows.
And then 1 vote for Sri. So it looks like Fallon has to bring me her card, and we'll find out if she is
I need
Mr. White. Yeah, you need to take her.
Take your time.
You have not found
What?
Mr. White.
Him. I was pointing at him.
Oh wow.
So let's go around again. Let's go around again. Give another word.
Wow.
Fallon thought
shook
that
it.
she was.
Wow.
It's me.
Well, how would Fallon know, right?
Right. Nobody would know.
All right. So another round of words, please.
I need to think of this. Is so rough. Possible infection.
Okay.
Bulge.
That was a choice.
Yeah.
Mass.
I feel like I don't think mass really works.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you're the imposter.
Maybe it's me. Low key.
Okay, so mass.
I said
Bulge.
possible infection.
Possible infection.
What'd you say first?
Possible infection.
No, first. Like the first time around.
Skin.
Skin.
I think it's Radha.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to match up really.
I mean, it matches in my head, but again, I've noticed that I don't work the same as you guys. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I just don't function.
Shri is squirrely.
I feel like Kait is squirrely right now. Kait, are you lying?
Well, do I know what all your words are?
She's very excited.
I
'cause
wouldn't know
literally-
if mine were different.
She's very excited because I literally can't remember who I gave the card, the Mr. White card to.
You don't remember who
I don't remember.
Well, it wasn't me. Or
Apparently
as it goes,
not.
it wasn't me.
I thought it was Fallon. Now I think it. I don't know.
All right, let's vote.
I'm really confused.
3,
I'm gonna go with my gut.
2, 1, vote. All right, everybody's voted for somebody different.
Yeah. This is
The
life.
rules don't explain.
Can Fallon? Can
I
she?
would have come
on
back.
Yeah,
and
Fallon, you're the
Fallon
tiebreaker.
decides who's eliminated.
Okay.
Sri. Okay, 2 people have voted for Sri. Sri, bring me your card.
This is gonna look bad if it's not him because I voted for him first time too when you all voted for Fallon.
You have not found Mr.
Oh
White.
no!
It has to be you.
Bulge.
It's not
really?
me.
You went with bulge?
You thought it was you. Is it me?
That's interesting.
I don't
thought it was
fucking
me.
know.
I don't even.
What?
Okay, so
we have to
there's
go
only
again?
2 of
I
us
vote her.
alive.
Do we go again?
I should just have like a discussion. Caveman discussion. Caveman discussion. Only 1 syllable words.
Skin again.
Wait, what?
No, like have a full discussion, but
don't
only
know.
1 syllable words.
I barely even know what. I don't know.
You're in a tight spot then.
How do I just? I feel like I used my words already. I don't know what else to say. Pain.
Okay.
Potential no pain.
But also potential pain. I don't know. I think of these. I don't know. I think
Do we all have the same word, Dave?
No.
This is getting good.
I know.
I
feel
can't
like
keep
I'm watching
going.
The
I
Golden
literally
Bachelor.
don't. I don't know what to say. It's not very podcasty of me, but like the words aren't coming.
Come on, you can do it.
Drain.
Okay.
Ew.
Okay. All right.
No. Do we have the same word?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Do we have the same word?
What did you say? Possible infection
Yeah.
and skin?
Skin, and then I think pain, but
And
like
pain?
it doesn't have to be pain.
And you
I
said
said
dermatology,
dermatology, mass, and drain.
We have to have the same. Can we like look at each other's words? Like do we have the same word?
No.
Well, we could swap and we'd probably still have the same word.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what else we're supposed to do.
Okay,
Like,
what?
Well,
Why is
Kate,
another word?
you gave a new word.
Yeah.
You gave a new word. Give a new word.
Okay. Swell.
lump.
Okay.
Oh,
Lump
wow.
and
And mass.
and
and swell.
mass.
I said go for the caveman conversation. Big red makes skin go ow.
Maybe I think it might be me, low-key. At this point.
Well, then I have to assume that Kait would also vote for you, unless she's going to pull a Fallon.
Kait, do you think it's you?
It might be me, but I'm gonna vote for Radha.
Can I vote for Kait just to like spice things up?
She just said she was gonna vote for
No, you got to.
Do I have to vote for myself? Is that the only other
She
option?
wants this game to never
voting
end.
for each other. Like this is. I think we've exposed a
But isn't my
weakness in
goal?
this game.
Isn't my goal to win? Have I already won in this situation? If it is
I
me,
think your goal is ultimate truth.
ultimate truth.
Yes. Again,
I think I might as well take
as
one
is
for the
true in
team.
life.
I vote for Radha, but also I feel like Dave might be scared to give Radha another one based off the first round.
I think he might be messing with me.
I'm scared of no one.
Okay.
All right, Radha, bring me your card.
Okay.
Put you out of your misery.
Yeah, we're just being nice.
Hey. I wouldn't say nice.
Well, you have said nice.
You have found Mr. White.
Oh my god!
What is your
I
word?
need to know what the word is. Was it like abscess or something?
You are correct.
It was abscess.
Abscess.
And
Everybody
ours
else.
was
What?
cyst.
Oh, she was gonna guess. That's fine.
Oh, sorry.
I thought they were because I was like, it has to be either abscess or like cyst or like.
Go
So
back
the
to your
possible
microphone.
infection really makes sense. I guess.
Yeah.
So, as my understanding from looking up these two words, cyst is usually a clear fluid filled sac.
And it's not always painful.
It's not always painful. An abscess is due to an infection. It's usually filled with.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was
I
like,
thought the cysts were
Neutrophils.
filled more with like
Candy.
Pus.
gunk.
But, I mean, not according to the direction I read.
See,
or the definition
I'm
I
not
read.
trained enough to know the difference between the two, or
What
like
a coincidence!
much
Neither
about
am
it.
I.
The
Well,
infection should have been maybe a giveaway.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was fun for our listeners, but I had a good time. That's our show. Kait, Fallon, Sri, Radha, thanks for being on the show with me today.
Thanks for having us.
And what kind of dingus would I be if I didn't thank you, Shortcoats, for making us a part of your week? If you're new and you like what you heard today, if you're new here, not new in general, if you're new here and you like what you heard today, follow the show wherever fine podcasts are available, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. The producer of this episode is yours truly. The show is made possible by a generous donation by Carver College of Medicine student government and ongoing support from the Writing and Humanities program. Our music is by Dr. Vox and Catmosphere. I'm Dave Etler saying don't let the bastards get you down. Talk to you in 1 week.
Woo!
Hi, Shortcoats. Look, life in medical education, life in America, life in the world is often difficult. And I often wish I could help. All I have is this podcast, but in my wildest dreams, you have the support you need to lead a life of your choosing. You deserve to be happy, healthy, and successful in whatever ways you define those words. So if you need support because you've experienced racism, discrimination, harassment, mental health crises, I want you to be able to get the help that you need. And so I'm going to put some links in the show notes to some resources that you can use. But the bottom line is that for what it's worth, I see you. I know you're out there. I wish I could do more. Maybe I can in ways that I don't understand yet or know about. But I see you, and I'm glad you're here, and other people are too. This Shortcode podcast is a proud member of the MedEd Media Network. Inspiration, information, and guidance on your journey to medical school and beyond at mededmedia.com.